Hey guys, welcome back to your Lake Fork Guide. We're right here at Lake Fork today, and one of the best baits to throw this time of year out here is going to be a lipless crankbait. So today, we're going to give you all the details on how we go about winter bass fishing with a lipless crankbait. Well guys, like I said, lipless crankbait's one of the most effective tools on any of our lakes across the south. Everybody's familiar with that red lipless crankbait in the wintertime. The red's not the only one that works though. There's a few different varieties and a few different options, and if you really want to get the most out of a lipless crankbait in the wintertime, you need to kind of be having a little bit of all of them ready to go at any given time. The standby would be something like this right here. Hopefully y'all can see that pretty good. That is a 1/2 ounce crawfish pattern lipless crankbait. That right there is the Quake 70 from 6 Sense Fishing. That's probably the one that people spend the most time throwing. It's the one that I spend the most time throwing throughout the colder months. But there are other crankbaits, other colors, other sizes of lipless baits that you really need to have in play. We get a lot of dirty water in the wintertime. I like this Tiger Truce color is something I really like. It's got like a bright orange and a bright chartreuse. It really shows up well in the dirty water. Hey, on these sunny, clear days like this right here, a lot of times you'll find me throwing a gold reactor color, just a gold chrome. And then something else that I really like to throw a lot, especially on the sunnier days, is going to be shad patterns. Even in December, January, February, your traditional pre-spawn patterns, when everybody's throwing the crawl patterns, on the sunny days especially, I will go back to a traditional shad pattern type of lipless crankbait. So those are kind of the colors that you're going to want to have ready to go. You're going to want shad pattern, you're going to want chrome of some kind. You're also going to want crawl patterns, and really bright crawl patterns for the dirty water. Now a big kicker that's something that doesn't get talked about near enough for me, in my opinion, is going to be throwing a 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. This is a Booyah. It's actually the old Excalibur lipless crankbait model, but Booyah bought them out or whatever. But this is a Booyah 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. Another one that I throw a lot is the old traditional Bill Lewis Rat L trap. Now, I will tell you, if they made the Quake 70 in a 1/4 ounce, I absolutely would be throwing that. This Quake 70 is my favorite lipless crankbait, but it does not come in a 1/4 ounce weight. Same color patterns with them: shad pattern, chrome pattern, and a crawl pattern. Maybe a really bright crawl pattern. Not so much the really bright crawl pattern, because when the water gets extremely dirty, I'm going to go away from that 1/4 ounce trap. That 1/4 ounce trap, to me, it shines on days that are extremely tough. Post frontal, bluebird sky type days. Those are the type of days that the 1/4 ounce trap is really going to be the one that I lean towards. And basically the whole purpose of throwing a 1/4 ounce trap isn't about downsizing your bait to make a fish bite a smaller bait. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about the speed at which you can fish it over shallow grass. A lot of times in these lakes, our grass will be pretty shallow. And if you have that 1/2 ounce trap, you have to fish it a little bit faster to keep it from bogging down into the grass. So that 1/4 ounce trap will allow you to slow roll that lipless crankbait a little bit more, still get that vibration, still get that tick the grass reaction bite that you're looking for without it getting too bogged down in that shallower grass. And on the tougher days, that's really important, because you really need to slow down as much as possible, and that 1/4 ounce trap really allows you to do that. Hey, let's talk about some of our gear that we're going to throw it on. There's a few different options out there. Obviously for the 1/2 ounce and 3/4 ounce traps, we're going to throw a different setup than we are that 1/4 ounce trap. It's really a big difference in the way that bait throws and what you need to get that bait out of the grass. So with the 1/4 ounce trap, we'll start with that one. I actually downsized my gear. So I've got a 7-1 medium heavy rod, and I've got 15-pound fluorocarbon line, and that's pretty much what I always throw that 1/4 ounce trap on. Now sometimes as we get on into the winter, the grass will get softer and softer as it continues to die and fade in life throughout the winter. It'll get a little bit softer, and when that happens, you do sometimes need to go to braid to get that lipless crankbait to come through that grass cleanly. Right now we don't have a lot of that going on. The water's still in the 50s around here, so that grass is still fairly firm, so I am still throwing the fluorocarbon line. But as we get down into the 40s and that grass really gets soft, I'll switch over to 30-pound braid for my line. Like I said, 7-1 medium heavy rod. The reel that I'm throwing this right here on, that is a Lew's I ironically call them Lew's Metaniums, and I almost called it that because they're silver like the Shimano Metaniums. It's a Lew's Hypermag. Very smooth reel, very long casting reel. It casts a mile. I really like throwing that type of reel. As far as gear ratio goes, for lipless crankbaits, I highly recommend a mid-gear ratio, 6:3 to 1, something along those lines. So that's going to be our setup for the 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. For the 1/2 ounce and even a 3/4 ounce, yes, I do throw bigger lipless crankbaits when I have deeper grass in the wintertime. I'm actually throwing a 7.5 medium heavy rod from 6 Sense Fishing. I'm throwing a Lew's Team Light speed spool. You could also throw the Hypermag. Either one of these reels is going to be very good, very effective for throwing lipless crankbaits. They both cast very far. That's an important part. We'll talk about that on the retrieve, but making long casts is one of the big advantages of these lipless crankbaits. So you want reels that'll throw it a long way. Both the Team Lew's Light speed spool and the Hypermag will both accomplish that very well. 7.5 medium heavy rod, like we said, 20-pound fluorocarbon line. I'm throwing this on 20-pound fluorocarbon line. Again, same thing. Water gets down on the 40, grass starts getting softer. I will switch over to 30-pound braid on this exact same rig right here. And gear ratio the same as well. And we're going to talk about why that gear ratio is important when we do our retrieve segment. As far as the areas that you want to throw in, it's really going to depend on the grass. You guys can see these shots that I'm showing you around me. Man, there's hydrilla scattered out everywhere in here. It gets even thicker a little further up the creek. But the grass, it's all about the grass. I'm always hunting grass with a lipless crankbait in the wintertime. I will throw it without grass at times, but man, fortunately for me, I live in an area where you can always usually find some grass. It's pretty rare when you can't. And so that's the key, because as we talk about this on retrieve, where you're going to get the bite is when that bait just subtly ticks that grass, pauses for a second, and pops out of there. That's going to be the whole key to a lipless crankbait in the wintertime. You take wintertime fish that don't really want to bite, they're inactive, and that little subtle stop and then burst out of that grass causes that fish to lunge at it, to react to it. Even though that fish may or may not want to feed at that time, they'll go ahead and react to that lipless crankbait. And that is what's made it such a time-tested, proven bait. It's worked forever, man. Since I can remember when I was a little bitty kid, lipless crankbait was a deadly bait in the wintertime. But to expand on the area a little bit, the grass is what you're looking for, but in the wintertime in Texas, what you got to think about is these fish are already starting to think about pre-spawn. You know, if I lived a little further north, I'd be looking for more main lake grass this time of year, but here in Texas, I can come back in these creeks, and there's going to be some fish that are already kind of pre-spawn staging. Even in December and January, you will find that. Now, they'll be on the deeper edges, they'll be around the drains and the creeks. That's going to be an important component of where you fish, making sure that you find these drains. Right here where we're sitting today, hey, there's a creek channel that runs right over here, makes a swing. There's a secondary drain that runs off this way and makes a loop. There's a little hump with grass on top of it that we're actually power pulled down on top of, and it runs out to the side of me right here. But I'm always looking for creek junctions, creek swings, low spots within the grass, drains. I'm always looking for those subtle depth changes within the shallow grass areas, and that's going to be what really loads those big fish up for you in numbers. All right, let's get up on the front deck and show you guys how we're retrieving, because this is an important component to lipless crankbait fishing, is exactly how you retrieve the bait. All right, so the retrieve, like I said, so important about lipless crankbait is the retrieve, and it's going to be the same whether you're throwing the 1/4 ounce or the 1/2 ounce. In fact, it's going to be the same no matter what. Really, the speed of your retrieve is going to depend on the depth of your vegetation. Like I said, one of the big advantages of these lipless crankbaits is you can cover a ton of water. You can be very efficient, very effective, and be very thorough about covering a bunch of water because you can throw them so far. So you want to go ahead and use that to your advantage. Throw these baits out there a long way. You immediately want to point at the bait, just like I am right now. See how my rod's pointing straight out? That's going to be a key component. And as I get going, I hit a little grass right there, I'll twitch it out. But as I get going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I'm getting in some grass now, I'm going to start reeling it pretty fast, and then as I keep going, I'll start steadily slow down, just barely keeping that blade vibrate, steadily slow down until I hit grass. Then I'll pop it and get it out of there and speed it up a little bit. So let me start at the beginning and cast show you one more time. We're going to start fast, work our way down speed-wise. As soon as we start ticking grass, we'll pick it up again. Okay, slowing down. There's a little grass, pop it out, speed it up, hit a little more grass. Slowing down, hit some grass right there. And that's the deal. When you can hit that grass, when you can feel it early, hit that grass and just make it pause for a second and then pop out of there, man, that is really how you catch them on a lipless crankbait. Guys, I can't express to you how important it is to pay very close attention to your bait when you're fishing these lipless crankbaits, okay? Because the earlier you feel that grass, the easier it's going to be for you to pop it out of there. Now, there's times when you'll get bogged down in grass There's gonna be times when you get bogged down in grass and you may be reeling, all of a sudden you're bogged down and you gotta do that. It's okay to do that, but that's not what you want to do. You're not gonna catch a fish ripping that bait like that. You're really gonna catch a fish when you hit the grass and you just kind of snap it or just gently lift it and then let it get back down there. That little subtle, that is what really catches them. As far as the hook set goes, the gear that I'm recommending for these baits is honestly a little bit overpowered for the baits. So you have to be very, very careful about how you set the hook. You do not want to go snapping the hook if you're going to throw the gear that I recommend. Now the gear that I recommend will keep the bait cleaner in the vegetation. It'll make it easier to fish it through that grass like we're showing you how to do right here. But if you get a bite and you go like that, you're going to miss a lot of fish. What you want to do is you're reeling in here and you get a bite, tick, you start reeling and just pull to the side. Okay, you just want to really engage your reel hand and almost set it with the reel handle. Is really, you're almost setting the hook with the reel handle. So go along, get a bite, speed up and pull and just burn that reel handle. And you can go ahead and pull hard. You can pull as hard as you want. Go ahead and load that rod up. Pull hard, just don't jerk. That's the key deal to hooking a lipless crankbait fish. Well, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly hope it helps you catch more and bigger fish this winter. Hey, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. Hey, if you want to see more like this, be sure you subscribe and go ahead and hit that bell button. Turn those notifications on so you'll never miss another video that we do. We're putting out lots of content like this, lots of instructional content all the time. So if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And we certainly appreciate you guys stopping by to watch today. And we'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide. Well, all right, what's your name, brother?
Michael Cates.
Michael Cates. And you watch the channel, right?
Yes, sir.
Look at here, I'm over here talking about lipless crankbaits, trying to film a lipless crankbait video, and this guy's over here catching old heads behind me. That's the second one I watched y'all catch back here. That's awesome, dude. Good fish.
We're gonna put her back, thank you.
What'd you catch that on?
On a Crush 75X.
Old flat-sided square bill.
Yeah, check it out though. I broke off the bill off my good one, so I didn't have it one with another one with red on it, so I dipped this one in that orange dye.
Oh, well, man, we can't have you rolling around here like that. Hold on now.
I broke my lava truce one off.
Wait, we can't be having you rolling around here like that, dog. How about that right there?
Dude.
There's lava truce right there, brother.
That is my all-time favorite right there.
There you go, my man.
Thank you.
Now you got it.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I don't know. You just caught that 6-pounder on that. I might keep throwing that one if I was you.
Oh, I think I'm fixing to feed on that real one.
There you go.
Yeah, eat it. Thank you, man.
Man, we appreciate you watching. And
he was watching on the way, or listening on the way down here this morning.
That's awesome, dude. Thank y'all so much.
He said something about a jig around the creek channel, so we decided to come over here.
Y'all been doing enough. I've been watching you out here. Y'all been getting them.
Yeah,
that's good.
Ain't been a bad day. There ain't been no little ones.
That's this time of year. We talk about that a lot this time of year. You may not catch that many, but you catch some good ones.
Some old Lake Fork specials.
That's right.
Ain't nowhere else in the world I've been you can do it like that.
That's right.
Not that I've been.
Well, y'all have a great day, brother.
Thank you, sir.